Okay, so thank you and welcome everyone. In terms of our chair, Ernie Galsworthy, sorry, unfortunately he will no longer be chairing this meeting, but I have to say how grateful in the short time that I've been involved with SACRE, what a contribution, what a chair that he has been, and I certainly would like to express my thanks for all the work and effort and energy that he has committed to RE in the past, and certainly moving towards RVE towards the future. So we're wishing him all the very best. And I just wanted to put that on record. I'm not sure if anybody else would like to say anything at this point.
Just to reiterate that, really, just to thank Ernie for his time and wish him well for the future.
Okay, so we need a chair. Expressions of interest haven't been received. So is there anybody present currently who would like to put their name forward for the position of chair of SACRE? Or anybody else who would like to nominate?
I'd like to nominate Michelle.
Right, you've had it.
So we have one nomination. Michelle, are you accepting that nomination?
Well, I don't know. I'd like to nominate David Hughes.
Okay, so we have a second nomination. David, are you accepting that nomination? Oh, you're on mute, sorry.
Yeah, I accept this. Michelle accepts it.
So
Yeah,
we currently have two. So in terms of the voting for this, it's one vote per group. So if people do want to go out into different rooms, I'm not sure who will facilitate that, whether would that be Michelle or Andrea? No, it would be Michelle. Could you facilitate the different groups for discussion? And obviously protocol, as my understanding is that David and Michelle wouldn't be necessarily in the room during the casting of the votes.
Do you want us to turn our cameras and the mic off?
Yes, as like declaring an interest in a normal
Okay.
meeting.
Okay, so we have practitioners and we have faith representative. You're more than able to, if Michelle's okay with that, and able to put you into two separate groups if you want a breakout room to discuss your vote, or whether you're happy to do it in a more open forum.
I'm happy just to do it. So
yes, yeah. Do it in the open forum.
Okay, so in terms of the two votes that we have Michelle nominated and David Hughes nominated. So if I can go for Michelle first, who's voting for Michelle, sorry.
Shall I put my hand up?
Yeah, you can put your hand up if.
Right.
Sorry, I froze then, sorry.
Thank you very much. And then out of process, David Hughes. Okay. Thank you very much. So are we all confirmed that Michelle Jones will be the SACRE chair?
Yep.
Okay, and I hand back to Michelle and Andrea.
I'm sure she'd be thrilled.
Thanks a lot, guys.
You know who your friends are.
Thank you all.
Oh. Oh, well, you're all going to have to help me because I haven't got a clue. I need you all to help me and bear with me.
Don't worry, Michelle, we're all in the newbies boat, so...
Oh, well, that's good.
We're all in
I'm
this
still
together.
playing that card still. Okay, so does, sorry, I don't know the regulation. Does Michelle now take the chair today? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, okay. Just in case I needed to help out there, that's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me just go to the agenda. So where are we? Okay, selection of chair. So if we had any apologies for absence today, please.
No apologies for absence have been received. But just to notify you, Lucy Draper, her email is bouncing back, so I don't believe she's having her invites, but I don't have any other contact details for her.
Right, okay. So if we move on to the next item on the agenda, which is declarations of interest. So does anybody need to declare an interest in today's meeting, please? No.
No.
I'm just switching back and forth. No, I can't see anybody declaring an interest. So we move on to the next item, which is membership, and constitutional update is 4.1. Does anybody want to take us through that, please?
In terms of the Constitution update, in a previous meeting, again, this goes back before my time as well, there were agreed changes which were necessary due to the law as such, the kind of the statute, and those changes were made with an adjustment. So it was about bringing sort of humanist membership, non-Christian membership onto SACRE as well. So that would need to go through the AGM, I believe, in the autumn term. Donna, please correct me if I'm wrong on that one. That's the update I was given from Anthony.
Yes, thank you for that, and thank you for. I know Anthony had been involved. I think it was the meeting that I observed rather than actually being the advisor at that point. But yes, it's good to hear that it will be going before the AGM because the terms of references need updating to fall in line with the legal requirements and the curriculum for Wales moving forward as well. So that's really good news. And hopefully if they're passed, then obviously we can change them and amend them accordingly.
Okay, great. So just looking at the agenda, item 4.2, membership update. Do we need to go through that in detail now, pages 5 to 18? Donna?
On mute and forgotten to take my hand down. Not very good. Okay, so just to let you know, we had a couple of messages that Janine Brill retired in the summer, so will no longer be part of SACRE. So again, I'd like to formally give my thanks to her time and her energies and commitment to the subject and to SACRE membership and supporting learners and practitioners in that way. We've spoken about Ernie Goldsworthy, and I think we have yet to see Andy Chiber. I think, did we have apologies from Andy for this one? Who's the humanist representative? No, we haven't had apologies.
No, I haven't received any apologies.
Oh, right, okay. But it was just, we have yet to formally welcome him to the meeting. That was all. They're the ones that I have.
Okay, so we haven't had apologies from Reverend Mark Previtt either, have we? Just out of interest.
No
No.
apologies have been received at all.
Oh, okay, it's not like him, is it? Because he is generally in our meetings.
He sent
right,
one
okay.
for the ASC previously, so whether he was doubling up, I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably. Should we just put him down as apologising for this meeting then? I think that's probably fair. Yeah, I just think that he would generally give apologies if he wasn't here. Okay. Bear with me. There were the two screens on at the moment now rather than just the one screen. So should we go on to the minutes? Is that okay? Yeah, okay. So rather than me going through them, page by page. Let me just go down. This computer's really slow. So does anybody have, I can't even get to the start of the minutes here. Does anybody have any issues with any of the minutes? Have you all had a chance to check them to make sure that they're true and accurate? Has anybody got anything that they want to bring up from those minutes? No? Are we all okay to say that they are a true record? Yeah?
Just
Okay.
for clarity, I haven't received the minutes because I
Okay.
literally haven't received anything
Sure.
for this meeting. So just to put that out
Yeah.
there.
All right, okay, that's fair enough, no problem. Okay, so the next item on the agenda, if I can go back to the top of the page, is so there's no matters arising from the minutes. So agenda item number 6 is update from SACRE from the meeting of the 6th of April 2022. And then there's obviously 6.1, 6.2, 6.3 and 6.4. So can I just check who's taking agenda item number 6, please? Donna, are you okay to go ahead with that then? Thank you.
Thank you very much. If I share my screen, just bear with me. And it's that one now. So in terms of SACRE update, we were presented with this presentation, and it's obviously been shared with you as to the reasoning behind the agreed syllabus and the changes in what SACRE were advising advisors and SACRE in terms of the expectations of the agreed syllabus. So they took us through this and explained from a Wrexham perspective and a Church in Wales perspective. And that's why the format is as it is for the new agreed syllabus, to be in line with the advice that was given and directed by SACRE and Welsh Government. So that's really just to share with you the reasoning behind this new format, if you like, that you are seeing compared to older syllabuses. Very different in the terms of the links to the live documentation on Hub and the legal reasons behind that, etc. So if there was any questions in regards to the PowerPoint, Libby Jones, the Wrexham SACRE lead, and Elizabeth Thomas from Church in Wales gave their perspectives and their reasoning and shared their examples. So there was that update. Are there any questions or considerations regarding the first one? Nope. Okay, am I okay to proceed to the next one? Yeah, I'll share my screen again. So there was a meeting with Estin, and you can see those who were present. There was members from Estin and there was members from SACRE and the executive committee. And there's some items that were discussed. One of the main objectives, if you like, or consideration was the compliance and checking compliance and whose responsibility, particularly for statutory RVE and RE, who that lies with and in what capacity. So there was a summary of the main points discussed, and there are a couple of things that need to be noted that are going to have a possible impact moving forward, or certainly raise further questions in terms of the roles and responsibility of LAs, and therefore SAC and SACRE moving forward as well. So Estin is saying they're not a regulatory body, so compliance with statutory requirements actually isn't part of their domain. It's monitoring compliance, they are saying, is down to the LA and Welsh Government. So SACRE are now trying to organise a meeting with Welsh Government to put to them the same questions for inquiry, because if the legal stance for compliance falls to the LAs, then what role and responsibility does SACRE have? And also how is it measured? How is that information given? Because the inspection reports are very, very different. If you've seen some of the more recent ones, unless something is outstanding or something is of concern, there's very little reference to anything else. So you may not actually know whether RE and RVE are compliant for statutory requirements in a particular school, whereas you used to have that information from Estin. So that information poses questions that SACRE and the LA need to be aware of moving forward. And they said that obviously, obviously serious shortcomings would be highlighted, but again, it depends if the inspector is looking specifically for statutory RE, and according to this meeting, they're not as part of compliance, so it wouldn't be reported back. And the challenges to things like RS qualification were brought up, personal development. So it's quite an intensive discussion, and it really has sort of posed questions that now also need to be given to Welsh Government before LAs can finally sort of understand their position in this, and therefore SACRE's position moving forward. So there could be some possible changes there that may actually be fairly significant in the role of SAC moving forward. So any questions about that? So it has possible repercussions for the LAs in particular.
Andrea, do you want to come in there?
Yeah, the statutory elements of ensuring that the schools enforce the curriculum, in a sense, does lie with local authority, because schools are currently working on their statutory statements, and it will be up to us to check those in September. So it could well come under that remit in that, Donna, in terms of where it lies. Obviously, the governing body have to enforce it within their own schools, but the local authority has to ensure that the statutory elements are carried out. So at the moment, the consortia are working with schools to prepare their statutory statements, and as RVE comes under that, I would have thought there would need to be a linkage within that, but that's my understanding of where things lie at the moment.
Okay, that's great, thank you. Donna?
That's great, and if it's in the statement, then they should be doing it, but it's the checking and making sure that it is being complied with, because it's one thing stating that they're going to be doing it, but it's another thing ensuring that they are, and its quality, that it is critical, pluralistic, and objective. It's those sorts of things that perhaps Estin in the past may well have been expected to look at, particularly when they used to do the subject back in the day. So it's those sorts of things that may need to be considered. It raises questions, really, but hopefully Welsh Government will be able to answer some and alleviate some of those questions moving forward.
Okay, that's great, thank you. I'm sure these type of questions are going to come up in every SACRE meeting now, and it's going to be something that is obviously going to be explored. People will be having questions to make sure that obviously it is dealt with and looked into properly and scrutinised. I was just wondering if Gemma had any kind of input on this. I know you're obviously working in Bishop Headley, but are you a religious education teacher or not? Yeah.
Yeah,
So I was just wondering if you had any. Sorry?
I do teach RE in Bishop Headley, yes.
Lovely. I was just wondering what your kind of thoughts were on this, because obviously you were on the ground, you hitting this running. If you had any kind of input, really.
Nothing major, to be honest. We're kind of doing it anyway. I know that sounds obvious, but we're kind of doing it in our school anyway. And obviously the strategy for us anyway. So I haven't really got any major comments other than the questions and things that have come up.
Okay, well that's good, because I mean, if you had concerns, then obviously that would give us the concern. But if you were happy with things as they are, then that's a bit of a relief. So thank you for that input there. That's great. Okay, great. Okay. Donna, you do you need to carry on?
Yes, if I may, thank you.
Please do.
So if I share once more. So at the SACRE meeting, they also presented what hopefully are going to be really beneficial professional learning. So Welsh Government have given quite a considerable sum of money to SACRE, and they've invited and interviewed practitioners from a range of groups and backgrounds and settings, but they are RVE specialists, and they have been involved in writing a new professional learning, asynchronous body of professional learning that will be accessible online, but for a variety of stakeholders, not just for RVE teachers. So they went through what they have been doing. So they've been writing modules, and they've been created by expert practitioners, and there were 10 of them. They've had project days, training days, quality assurance. I was involved in quality assuring 2 of them, and Nikki at CSE as well. It must have been about 6 weeks ago now. So hopefully the first 5 that they're going should be going live and ready, hopefully certainly by September, I would have thought. So these were the draft titles for the modules. So these are the first bank that were being considered. And these modules, there's about 10 to 20 slides that take you through no more than about half an hour of online training, and you can go at your own pace, your own speed, you can go back to it. And there's lots of information in there. There's some case studies, etc. So hopefully looking at those titles, you can see that they're going to be fairly useful for a wide audience and wide range of stakeholders. They have said that this is not an exhaustive list, that they're hoping that this will continue beyond these initial modules, and that these 5s will be in the process of quality assurance soon as well. And hopefully it looked very positive, I have to say. They were going to be streamlined in terms of the way they were presented. Hub, that's where they're going to be published, is going to be on Hub. So the creative team at Hub are obviously streamlining the resources as well in terms of what they look like, etc. So the dates, it's question mark at the moment, but I would hope certainly for September the first 5 would be up and ready. And that if you've got any ideas, I mean, SACRE have any ideas, practitioners have any ideas, they're certainly open and welcome to developing the range and content to support people moving forward. So if there's any questions about the professional learning that will be available from Welsh Government and SACRE.
I think I'm personally, I'm pleased that there's things going on, because I do think, especially in primary, sometimes it does get pushed to a sideline. So, and when it's all mixed in the humanities, so with this, it'll bring it back into the forefront a little bit more, hopefully, fingers crossed.
So
Sorry,
No
in terms
more
of,
questions?
sorry.
Yeah.
In
No,
terms
go on,
of
Gemma.
training, is it going to be like a task-based training, or is it kind of just a video, or what? Because coming from my point of view, obviously I'm a specialist, but mixing it in with kind of humanities as a whole, I don't know if task-based, or not so much task-based, but giving like a very focused rather than just something to watch would be more beneficial to make sure that it's implemented correctly across schools.
So by the headings, they're quite generic, like for head teachers, for governors, parents can use them as well. It's not just for practitioners, so it's not necessarily bespoke design curriculum training that perhaps you might be talking about. But I can offer you, as CSE, we have organised professional learning for primary schools, and it is July the 4th, and it's with Lat Blaylock. It's on our website, you can access it, it's free. And he is the most inspirational RVE speaker that you will ever have as a trainer. And he's doing a 3-hour session on RVE and the new curriculum, including resources, ideas, and everything else. That's why we've made sure we got him in just before September, and he is hoping to do a funded project with us next year when we'll be looking for schools and practitioners. And also I'll be designing and making a lot more professional learning from September, when I'm 5 days a week and when there's less ASC meetings to attend and organise and write agreed syllabuses. So hope, you know, that's, and the supporting materials is a great place as well. So as a practitioner as well as an advisor. I know exactly what you're crying out for, but if there is anything else that you want from us, SACRE is a great place and forum, you know, to make CSE and anybody else aware, and WASACA aware of what you would like.
Yeah.
So if there's anything, please, you know, inform us and let us know, because we want to support you.
Lovely. Thank you.
That's great, thank you. So is that item covered, Donna?
Can I just add there, sorry, about timing? I think that's important for practitioners, Donna. If we can go back and sort of consider when will practitioners know that these things are available, given that we're now in June with sort of the move looming for September and summer in between.
WASACA will be telling, I'm sure, to be honest, SACRE clerks tend to find out before advisors.
Okay.
So, and then obviously CSE, I would normally find out from SACRE and WASACA as well. So as soon as I hear anything or Michelle hears anything, it will be publicised for, you know, and it will be on the CSE website, it will be in the school bulletins, it will be on the networks, it will be there. But it will be available on Hub. So obviously you don't have to sign into Hub, you can keep checking Hub. You don't have to log in. Anybody, parents, governors, etc. can view Hub. So, oops, sorry. So as soon as it is available, I will let you know, and I understand the urgency. I'm with you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, Donna. That's brilliant. Thank you. So are we able to go on to the minutes now? Is that okay?
Yeah,
so I think
fine.
yeah, okay, thank you. So on page 56, I think it is the start of the minutes. Has anybody got any observations, anything they want to bring up about any of these minutes, or are we happy to confirm that they are a true record? Yeah, okay, that's great. Okay, bear with me while I go back to the top of the page. Okay, so I believe that was item number 7. So let's have a look here. Yeah. Sorry, that was item 6.4. So item number 7, WASACA votes. Somebody able to take us through that, please? Thank you, Donna.
Apologies, me again.
No, no problem.
So every time I do that, it covers up. Sorry, I end up talking to myself when it's ICT. Let me move them across now so I can access the bar. Okay, so screen. So WASACA have some positions that each SACRE needs to vote on and send final voting into WASACA by the 28th, and I'm so pleased that we're going to meet that deadline because the meeting's today on the 21st. So we have a nomination for the position of Vice Chair, and these pen portraits have been shared from the 2 candidates, well, the nominees, I should say. So we have Vicky Barlow from Flintshire SACRE, a senior manager for school improvement. Is that large enough for people to see?
That's better.
Yeah.
Is that better? So she studied theology at St Anne's College, Oxford Uni, completed a PGC at Newman College, Birmingham. She's taught it as a secondary practitioner in A-level, head of department in 2 schools before taking up the advisor for Wrexham for 6 years. So that's her sort of background. And then the second nominee we have is Edward John Evans from Bridgend SACRE. He was first elected to the executive back in 2006. He's been assistant secretary, vice chair and immediate past chair. During the time he's been a member of the executive, involved in lots of meetings with various bodies and involvement, etc. So I don't want to skew in any way. So the voting obviously goes back to the group, and it will be a collection of votes, and then obviously the one vote would go back to SACRE for the vice chair position. So it's either Vicky Barlow or Edward John Evans. Chair, would you like to chair the vote?
Yeah, sure. First of all, has anybody got any comments or observations or anything they'd like to share? Any views? No? Okay. So if we go to the vote, for those wanting to vote for Vicky, can you raise your hand now, please? And those wishing, oh, did someone just put their hand up? Yeah, Gemma, you've gone for Vicky, is that correct?
Mm.
No? Oh, your hand has gone up. Oh, sorry, it's Miss Jones from
It's
Time
me.
School. Sorry. Yeah, so you're looking to vote for Vicky, yeah, okay. Okay, you've lowered your hand, brilliant. And those who would like to vote for, oh, was it Edward or Evan? I've forgotten now. Edward, if you could please raise
Edward
your hands
Evans.
now. Oh, there we are. Okay. Thank you. I think it's carried then that we've decided to go for Mr. Edward Evans. If you could lower your hands as well. Thank you very much. Okay. So is
we have
that, no, go on.
We have a second thing that we need to vote for position, which
Okay.
is the membership of the executive committee.
Okay, do you want to take us through that, please?
Yes, we have pen portraits for those. There's a lot more of those. Hopefully you've had a chance to have a look through them. So there are positions of 3 positions. So it's voting for 3 out of the 5. So firstly, it's Vicky Barlow, the same person who was up for vice chair. And we obviously have Edward John Evans. Regen SACRE. So the third one is Councillor Dr. Louise Brown from Monmouthshire. And that's her information. She's a Monmouthshire County Councillor, qualified solicitor, non-practicing now, former Methodist.
We haven't got that on screen. Is this supposed to be on screen, Donna?
Am I not? I do apologise. Talking to
No
myself.
problem.
So
thank you. It's on me now.
So the third one is Councillor Dr. Louise Brown from Monmouthshire. And that's her details. So this is for the place on the executive committee of SACRE, and there are 3 positions from 5 nominees. So the fourth one is Matthew Maidment from Rondicon and Taff.
Are we discounting Edward Evans?
If we voted him for vice chair,
Yeah.
that's the prominent role, but if he doesn't get vice chair, would you like to nominate him?
Okay, yeah, I was just
for the
checking. Yeah, that
executive
makes
committee?
sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
So Matthew's in Brinkenellock, head of department, head of RE. He's been a serving member of SACRE since 2016. He has a passion for statutory RE and making sure that it's being delivered. Margaret Williams and Tyler Lorraine Saunders from the Vale. So theirs is a joint, it's a job share. So Margaret is from Lantwick Major currently. She's head of RE at Lantwick Major. And Tyler has been teaching for 3 years in Pencoitra and has been acting head of department. So they're a joint nomination, job share. I think that's it. They're the 5. So we need to pick 3. So Vicky Barlow, Edward Evans, Dr. Louise Brown, Matthew Maidment, and then Margaret and Tyler on the Vale. So if I stop sharing. So we need to put forward 3 from this SACRE.
So do you want me to take that to the vote for you? Okay, great. So so we all have 3 votes. Is that right, yeah? So those wishing to vote for Vicky Barlow, could you please vote now as to your first choice? Michelle, are you making a note of those who are raising their hands? Or do you want me to do it?
I am, Chair, but I'm just a little bit concerned that some are raising hands in person and some are raising hands virtually. So if we could decide which way you're doing it.
Are we all okay to raise our hands virtually on the screen, or is anybody not able to do that?
That's fine.
Yeah, okay, so if we try again, then if you possibly would, if you want to vote for Vicky and you can raise your hands virtually, please do so now. Deacon David O'Keefe, are you okay to raise your hand on the screen or not? Sorry, you're on mute. There you go.
Got it?
Oh,
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
mine.
It's gone again.
Oh, do you want me again?
So I think we've got David, Miss Jones, Gemma, were you yes for this one? No, okay, and Councillor Hughes and myself. Okay, thank you. If we can lower our hands now, please. Okay, I'm moving on to the next one then is Edward Evans. If you'd like to vote for Edward Evans, please vote now. Okay, so just to confirm, the only ones voting for Mr Evans is Miss Jones from Toyne, Miss Davis from Bishop Headley, Councillor Hughes and myself. Lovely, if you can lower your hands, please. Okay, and if you would like to vote for Dr Louise Brown, please raise your virtual hand now. Oh, Dr Brown. Yeah, I think we have 1 vote there from Councillor Hughes. Thank you, Councillor Hughes. If you could lower your hand. And those wishing to vote for Matthew Maidment, please vote now. Okay, so we have Deacon David O'Keefe, Miss Jones, Miss Davis and myself. Thank you. If you could lower your hands. And lastly, if you would like to vote for Margaret and Tyler, please vote now. Okay. I don't believe anybody's voted for those, so I think that concludes. Has everybody voted 3 times?
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Is that okay, Michelle?
Sorry, just adding them up, and I'm accounting for 13 votes, which doesn't work out. So we had 4 for Vicky, 4 for Mr Evans, 1 for Dr Brown, 4 for Maidment, and then none for the last one.
Sorry, I think it's me. I voted for the last one, but I think my computer froze and my hand went up and down really quickly. Sorry.
Right, so there's the, right, so we're on 12, 13, 14.
We should have 12, should we? Is there, how many of us are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We should be having more than that. Should be having 18 votes if there's 6.
Yeah, 18.
I don't wish to vote.
Ah, okay.
We're still short on votes though.
1 vote short, was it?
Yeah.
Should we do it again?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a note of it as well this time, just to make sure that we've got 2 lots of us trying. So if you'd like to vote for Vicky Barlow, please vote now. That's 4 votes for Vicky, yeah? Okay, if you can lower your hands, please. Okay. Is everyone hands down? Yeah, if we could, if you'd like to vote for Edward Evans, could you please vote now? Okay, we have 4 votes for Mr. Evans. We can lower our hands, please. If anybody would like to vote for Dr. Brown, if you could raise your hand now, please. That's Councillor Hughes. Thank you, Councillor Hughes. Would like to lower your hand. And those who would like to vote for Matthew Maidment, could you please raise your hand now? Okay, we have 4 votes there. And would anybody like to vote for Margaret and Tyler? Miss Davis? Thank you.
And we're still 1 vote short unless someone hasn't voted 3 times.
Should we do it this way? Okay. Can I ask Deacon David O'Keefe, please, could you tell me which 3 people you would like to vote for?
The first one,
Yeah,
the last but one,
yeah.
who's the one after the doctor?
Matthew Maidment was after the doctor. So we had Vicky, Ed, Louise, Matthew, or the job share.
I haven't got the thing in front of me now.
So we have Vicky Barlow, Edward Evans. Then
I didn't vote for him, no.
No, okay. So we had Vicky Barlow, Dr. Louise Brown, or Matthew Maidment. I think
Right.
those were the 3 that you wanted, because I think
Yeah.
the only person who voted
Yeah.
for Louise was Councillor Hughes, and no one voted for Margaret and Tyler.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so that's you with 3. That's great. Miss Jones? Do you need me to remind?
15 it is, by the way. Vicky, Evans, Matthew Maidment, is it?
The viewers is Vicky Barlow, Edward Evans, and Matthew Maidment.
That's the ones.
That's great. Councillor Hughes?
Mine's Vicky,
Yeah.
Edward,
Yeah.
and the doctor.
Dr. Brown. Okay, great. And mine were Vicky Barlow, Edward Evans, and Matthew Maidment. And then Gemma?
Mine were Edward, Matthew, and the job share.
Ah, right, okay. So hopefully that's right now, because everyone's given their 3 votes. Is that right now, Michelle?
Can I just confirm Deacon O'Keefe viewers were Vicky,
Yeah,
Matthew, and I didn't get the 3rd one.
Maidment.
We've got Vicky Barlow,
Maidment, is it?
Matthew Maidment. Those were your 2 choices. And then was it Edward Evans you wanted to go for as well?
No,
Was it Dr. Louise Brown?
Dr. Louise Brown.
Yeah, there we are. That's brilliant. Thank you.
Right. Right, so the difference is, right, so we've got Vicky with 4,
Yeah,
Edward Evans with 4, Dr. Brown with 2, Maidment with 4, and the job share with 1.
that's brilliant. That's 15. That's great. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for your patience there. And thank you, Michelle, for helping us out with that. Okay, so does that conclude the WASCA votes? Yeah, okay, great. So if we move on to the next item, 7.1, the election of the vice chair. Would anybody like to put themselves forward for vice chair? So when I disappear, someone can step in. Is this vice chair for SACRE now or my? No, it's for something else. Oh gosh, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I'll pass you over to Donna and she can sort us out.
We've already voted for the WASCA vice chair, so thank you. We've done the
Oh.
two. We've done the two for SACRE.
Okay,
all
sorry.
done.
Okay, so we're moving on to number 8. Great. Sorry for the confusion. Okay, so it's the curriculum. So are you taking that, Donna?
Yes,
Lovely.
I am. But
Okay.
practitioners and everybody else, feel free to join in. It's just to give you an update, really, in the sense that some things have been confirmed which will affect the agreed syllabus. That the post-16 in the new curriculum for Wales was going to be 2022 rollout with the new curriculum, but they've amended it upon discussion with Welsh Government back to 2027. So the post-16, I know for Merthyr, it's, you know, but for other areas as well, just to make you aware that post-16 will be introduced in 2027, the new changes with the new curriculum. It will roll out when the year 7 move on eventually to sixth form. So that was one of the curriculum main updates that I wanted to share with you. But if anybody has any other questions or about the curriculum moving forward.
Andrea, do you want to come in there? Sorry, I was on
Yeah,
mute.
just a bit of clarification, because we're not post-60 in Merthyr in terms of schools. Obviously, my role covers the schools. Do we have to therefore include them within the agreed syllabus discussions in terms of college? No? Okay.
Not for Merthyr, everybody, yeah, the other areas, yes.
Just because of that point you just
Yeah,
made, I
it's
thought
unique.
I'd just seek
Yeah,
some
You
clarification
are
there.
unique. I just wanted, in case, obviously, people have dealings with wider,
Yeah.
might have children in other
Okay.
areas, etc.
And Merthyr is unique, you're right.
That's for sure. So is that item okay? Moving on. Okay, lovely. So moving on to number 9, the agreed syllabus conference. Whoever's in can take us through that, please.
Andrea?
Okay, thank you, Andrea.
Okay, this one links to the changes that are needed for curriculum for Wales. And as part of that change, we needed a new agreed syllabus. So a smaller group was set up to be able to develop that, and we've done that in line with the guidance that has been issued by SACRE, the guidance by CSC, and obviously the Curriculum for Wales Act. Even though this particular element actually goes back to the 1944 Act to make sure that that sort of exists. Now, we have done the development of that in terms of the guidance that will be issued for schools, and that is very different to previously as well, because it is very much in line with the current guidance that's on Hub for schools. It comes with a supporting documentation as well, which is there to help to guide practitioners, particularly those who are perhaps not necessarily specialists within the areas as well, so that it gives some links within that. Now, obviously, we need to vote on that, which is why we kind of met earlier. Now, as there was technological issues there, Donna, are we able to convene that now or not, as we're now court?
Process dictates that meetings and, you know, the advance warning needs to be shared in terms of, so technically, no, unfortunately.
Okay.
According to the conversation I had in between the two meetings and the advice that I was given.
Okay, so what we do need to do is to convene to vote on whether that's accepted by the local authority, and for that we do need the kind of the groups involved. That would then need to go to council. So given timings of council meetings, that would probably the September one. So my recommendation would be that we just issue some guidance to schools with the caveat that it still needs to go through the process. Would that be acceptable?
The advice given was, could we convene an ASC next week prior to your 5th of July deadline, if that's feasible for people's diaries. If not, it would be an LA decision in terms of accepting proxy voting. That was the feedback that I've just received.
So in terms of proxy voting, would we all need to, would the group need to proxy vote?
The ASE original members would need to receive documentation for voting.
Okay, so we wouldn't need to convene another meeting. They just
If
need
the
to receive
proxy, yeah, if the proxy is okayed by the LA
Okay,
and it's happy to proceed in that and take on board those proxy votes, then yes. But it's
who in the LA
one.
would we need to gain that from? Would it need to be a cabinet member or?
The person told me the top.
Right, okay.
I don't know who that would be for you.
Okay.
But yeah, whether it's the director of education, if they've been devolved the responsibility, I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay, my suggestion is then that I approach the director or the chief executive and possibly the leader of the council. I'm not quite sure what comes as top within the democratic process there as well, and ask for a proxy vote. Would everybody be in agreement with that? So that would mean that I can send the information and therefore we can still put it through council. Would everybody be happy with that? Councillor Hughes?
Councillor Hughes, do you want to
Yeah,
comment?
if you went to the portfolio member for education, that's our Michelle.
I know.
I think she can.
That's what I was
have
thinking.
to go anywhere then.
Yeah,
don't
because
know.
I'm unsure of what it means in terms of
Top.
top.
It could be director of education, or it could be the leader
Yeah.
or chief exec. So yeah,
So
we'll have to get some advice, I think, will we?
Yeah, definitely.
Legal department may help.
Okay.
Caris, yeah.
So can I take that as an action?
Please, yeah, I think so.
And would we be all in agreement for a proxy vote?
Yeah, it looks like the consensus of the nodding heads is yes. Is anybody not happy with that? Nope, nobody's indicating they're not happy, so I think we're okay to proceed.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, everyone. Moving on to the next item on the agenda. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe we're on qualifications. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Go for it, Donna.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to share with you, some of the practitioners may have seen this if they came to the last secondary network meeting that we had in April. We invited Agorid Cymru to present on a new qualification that had been written with the intention of covering statutory RE. It's not to replace GCSE, WJC, religious studies as an option or statutory for some schools, but as an alternative that perhaps some schools were looking for things like equality and diversity that actually don't hit the requirements, the statutory requirements for the RE. And this has also been devised with RVE in mind moving forward, hence the title Exploring Worldviews. So they came in and gave information to practitioners, and I just wanted to make SACRE aware that it is an option that's being offered. It's a Welsh curriculum that has been designed within Wales for Welsh centres that would meet the statutory requirement of those who are not taking religious studies through WJC. So, and that if there are any practitioners that are looking to work on this or have more information, that I have the connections if you're interested in contacting Agorid Cymru. And also I've started to have a couple of schools from other regions put forward an interest in possibly moving together a co-construction group to help with resources and share them, etc. So this was, I just wanted to share an update that, you know, some practitioners had already had this information, but that SACRE, it's really important that you're aware of this alternative as well, particularly if we are going down the compliance route of what is going to be in terms of the LA compliant statutory RE, then this course would cover that, whereas equality and diversity certainly doesn't. So it's good to see that there are alternatives developing and there are options opening.
Okay, that's great. Does anybody have any questions in relation to that at all? Any comments? No? Okay, thank you very much. Okay. I think then, have you covered 10.1, Donna, or not? Yeah? I can't see
Yes,
on
I
my
have,
notes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, great, sorry. So if we go on to number 11, Estin reports, please.
So following the discussions from the SACRE meeting with Estin, you'll see the background and the understanding and their position as to why RE and RVE moving forward may not feature as it once had. And certainly I've started looking at some of the more recent Estin reports, and there has been no direct reference in the ones that I've seen from across the 5 regions with relation to either celebrating RE and RVE good practice, but also no real pitfalls or concerns either. So the information we're going to get is going to be very, very, very different. And obviously where it is highlighted, we will be bringing it to SACRE's attention. Either hopefully to send out celebratory letters, as I think that was the practice pre-COVID, but also letters perhaps offering support from SACRE where needed if it's highlighted in the Estin reports moving forward. So it was just to give you a reminder that, you know, Estin are now back on the circuit, as Andrea knows from this morning.
And I do, believe me.
Oh, yeah.
I had a lovely hour meeting with them this morning. Great, okay, thank you. Anybody got any questions in relation to that? Any comments? No? Nobody got any opinions? No? Okay. Okay, we're okay to move on to the next item? Yeah, okay, thank you. And that is support for schools. It's item number 12, please. Donna, we over to you again? I'll love you. Thank you.
It's purely to raise awareness and the profile and to give practitioners opportunity to speak to SACRE and, you know, is there anything that you'd like to see? I mean, Andrea's obviously alluded to the fact that support for RVE is moving forward, probably not at the pace that you would like. But in terms of the process, etc., those supporting materials, I think, are going to be really valuable moving forward. And I would certainly encourage the LA to consider and hopefully support working parties and that sort of thing moving forward to develop those supporting materials as really beneficial, including things like case studies and links. And if you have any things that you would like us to add or to consider, I mean, a lot of people here have fantastic links within the community, from a religious, from a non-religious, from a cultural aspect, spiritual aspect. So please bring those to the table and share those moving forward, because this new curriculum is very much about the local aspect that you're not going to get from textbooks, etc. And it's about sharing that knowledge and awareness and sometimes even connections and networks that you have with their permission, obviously GDPR. So really just to say we're here to support, but, you know, we can support each other and we can support practitioners as well moving forward.
Yeah, okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Great, thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is training for SACRE members. 29th of June 2022, 7 till 8:30. And also one on the 14th of July, 7 till 8. Still standing, rec report on the future of SACREs. Okay, Donna?
Andrea, did you want to come back in on the previous?
Only to say that part of the funding that we get via CSE called the LA Annex, part of that next year will be towards development of more cluster and cross-school working within Merthyr. We're a small authority and we need probably to make more of that. as well. Now, there are clusters work going on in terms of the curriculum, but cross-cluster is probably something that's lacking as well. So that's something we'll be looking to develop, and obviously working alongside CSE in terms of your professional learning offer. But as this is also a statutory duty for us, it'll be something that we will need to look to develop as well. So just to add to that one, that's all.
Okay, that's great.
Sorry, my brain. Oh, the professional training.
The training.
Um, So I stumbled across a new website, SACRE, which I've never heard of, but another advisor had pointed me in that direction, and she said their training in the past had been pretty good. So she just literally informed me, and I found the link for the training. It's not necessarily through the LA, through CSE, but I just wanted to give you the heads up that if you were interested and you had a spare hour and a half, an hour at a time, and you wanted to join online, that there are SACRE based training out there being run for members if you wanted to take up in your own time on top of your free time now. So thank you.
Okay, that's great. That's good to know. Thank you very much. So how do people go about that? Do they contact you directly, or is there a link?
There's a
Or
link
just go on
and
the
you can just
website?
register. Yeah, you register individually yourselves in your own time at your
Okay.
own consideration.
Okay, so the link I can see now is on by agenda number 13. That's great. Okay, great. So we're now on to agenda item number 14, which is dates for future meetings. Who's taken that? Or shall I just make a suggestion? Or Democratic or Donna, are you able to assist here, please?
Hopefully, if I can just alleviate and make it a little bit easier in the fact that I won't be restricted to Monday, Tuesday and Wednesdays for next year, that I will be available Thursdays and Fridays as I'm being seconded full-time to CSE from September for a year. So hopefully if other days are easier for members, that's just something to consider. It's just that I've been restricted this year, unfortunately, to Monday to Wednesday.
That's fine.
Okay. I've got the committee cycle up as well to make sure we don't have a clash.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's been a clash with today's meeting with social services. So we want to try and avoid that in the future.
Okay.
Do we need that early in the autumn term or later? Is there a need for an AGM or anything like that? I'm not quite sure of the statutory processes, because we only need one in the autumn term, don't we?
Donna?
So the annual reports will usually go out prior to the autumn term SACRE meeting, and the quality assurance, my end of that, will not take place till the 14th of September. So, and you need a good 2 weeks after that. There's translation as well. So really we're looking into October onwards, I would suggest.
Okay. I think Michelle is still looking at the calendar. Are you, Michelle, trying to find a suitable day for us?
Is there a preference to which day you want?
Does anybody here have a preference? I prefer not a Friday, I won't lie.
We've got a date available for the 10th of October, which is a Monday.
I'd have to give my apologies for that one now, sorry. That's the one day in October I'm unavailable.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
Wednesday the 12th.
I'll just check my calendar. Michelle, you were looking at our calendar. Does that look okay?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
we're clear
okay.
on that day.
Yeah, that should be fine then. And are we sticking to the same time, 4:15? Is that okay for everybody? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Do we need a pre-meet before that or not? Yeah. And is that, go on, Donna, please.
I've just found it beneficial in other areas to have a pre-meet if that's possible.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Is half hour sufficient? Do you want to do a 3:30 or?
Yeah, that's great.
3:30
And
till
give
4?
us, yeah, a comfort break then before we
Yeah.
start.
Okay, so 3:30 then for a pre-meet. I'll try better next time to be more prepared for you all. Thank you for being with me. Okay, so that's that sorted, and let's have a look. Oh, okay, so do we need to also agree dates for spring and summer, please? Back on you, Michelle, I suppose, is it, for the pressure?
Again, what month are we? You look at March. March. Monday the 20th of March.
Yeah, is that okay for everybody? Okay. Same times then, please, for the pre-meet and also for the meet.
Okay.
Thank you. And then summer term. Are we talking this time? So June, late June? Yeah.
Okay, we're going to need to probably go for a Thursday, so the 15th or the 22nd of June, or the 29th.
Does anybody have any preference? No. Don't mind.
22nd?
Yeah, okay.
22nd of June. Okay. I will
Brilliant.
send out Teams invites shortly so that they can
Yeah.
all be in your diaries then ready.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, so any other business deemed urgent by the chair? Well, I haven't got anything. Does anybody need to bring anything up? Any other business anybody like to bring up today? No. Can I just ask, is there a vice chair for this meeting? For this, not meeting, for this
Is it
committee?
Mark Brevet?
Yeah,
Yes,
it is Mark,
it is.
it is Mark Brevet.
Lovely. Okay, that's great. Shame Mark's not here today. He might have wanted to be chair. But there we are. Well, thank you ever so much for your time and your patience today. Thanks for being with us, everyone. And if there's nothing further, then I think we can bring the meeting to an end, if that's okay.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.